The County of Boulogne was a county within the Kingdom of France during the 9th to 15th centuries, centered on the city of Boulogne-sur-Mer. It was ruled by the Counts of Flandres in the 10th century, but a separate House of Boulogne emerges in the 11th. It was annexed by Philip II of France in 1212, and after this was treated as part of the County of Artois, until it was finally annexed into the royal domain in 1550. History. Boulogne was already a pagus within the kingdom of the Franks. There are few records prior to the 11th century. A proverbially wicked count named Hériquin is recorded for the 9th century, but he may be legendary. It seems to have come under the rule of the Counts of Flanders in the late 9th or early 10th century. In 886, Bishop Gauzelin of Paris asked Count Erkanger of Boulogne to solicit German help against the Viking raids. Erkanger was lost all his possessions in 896, as he remained loyal to Charles the Simple. It may have been at this point that Baldwin II, Count of Flanders, gained control over Boulogne. Eustace II of Boulogne accompanied William the Conqueror's invasion in 1066. Boulogne was also a major participant in the First Crusade. Eustace III of Boulogne's brothers, Godfrey of Bouillon and Baldwin of Bouillon, both became kings of Jerusalem, and Eustace himself was offered but declined the title. Count Renaud of Boulogne joined the imperial side at the Battle of Bouvines in 1214, and was defeated by Philip II of France. Boulogne passed under nominal royal control in 1223 when it was given to Philip II's son Philip Huriepel. Huriepel revolted against Blanche of Castile when Louis VIII of France died in 1226. When Philip Huriepel died in 1235, Matilda continued to reign and in 1238 was married to Alphonse, second son of King Alfonso II of Portugal, and younger brother of King Sancho II of Portugal, having become Alfonso III of Portugal in 1248 and renounced his title of Count of Boulogne. Alphonse divorced her in 1253 due to her barrenness in favor of Beatrice of Castile. Nevertheless, Matilda and Philip did have a son Alberic, and a daughter Joan, who both survive. Alberic reportedly renounced his rights and went to England, for unknown reasons. Apparently he survived his mother and died in 1284, but presumably did not leave issue. Joan was married in 1236 to Gaucher de Chatillon, Count of Mortagne. She predeceased her mother in 1252, and presumably left no surviving issue. Consequently, after Matilda, her county of Boulogne then passed to Matilda's niece, Adelaide of Brabant, and her husband William X of Auvergne. Bertrand V de la Tour succeeded to the counties of Auvergne and of Boulogne in 1437. Through his son Bertrand V de la Tour, the county of Boulogne passed to his grandson, the last medieval Count of Boulogne, Jean III de la Tour d'Auvergne. By his marriage to Jean of Bourbon-Vendôme, he left two daughters. The eldest daughter, Anne of La Tour d'Auvergne, married John Stuart, Duke of Albany. However, she died childless in 1524. The youngest, Madeleine de La Tour d'Auvergne, married Lorenzo II de' Medici and gave birth to Catherine de' Medici, who inherited both Auvergne and Boulogne due to the death of the childless Anne. On the death of Jean III de la Tour d'Auvergne in 1501, Anne inherited the title Countess of Boulogne. However, at her death the title passed to Madeleine's daughter Catherine de' Medici, since Madeleine herself had died in 1519. Catherine became Queen of France in 1549 and the title passed to the French crown. Boulogne was attacked numerous times during the 100 Years' War and occupied numerous times by the English, the last time from 1544 to 1550. In 1550, the Peace of Boulogne ended the war between England and France bought back Boulogne for 400,000 crowns. List of counts. House of Flandres 896 to 918, Baldwin I 918 to 933, Adolf 933 to 964, Arnulf 964 to 971, Arnulf II 971 to 990, Arnulf III 990-1025, Baldwin II. House of Boulogne 1032 to 1049, Eustace I 1049 to 1087, Eustace II 1087 to 1125, Eustace III 1125 to 1151, Matilda I. House of Blois 1151 to 1153, Eustace IV 1153 to 1159, William I 1159 to 1170, Mary I. House of Alsace 1170 to 1173, Matthew 1173 to 1216, Ida 1173 to 1180, Matthew II 1181 to 1182, Gerard 1183 to 1186, Berthold. House of Dammartin 1216 to 1260, Matilda II 1223 to 1235, Philip I 1235 to 1253, Afonso. House of Auvergne 1260 to 1261, Adelaide 1261 to 1277, Robert I 1277 to 1314, Robert II 1314 to 1325, Robert III 1325 to 1332, William II 1332 to 1360, Joanna I 1338 to 1346, Philip II. House of Burgundy 1360 to 1361, Philip III. House of Auvergne 1361 to 1386, John II 1386 to 1404, John III 1404 to 1424, Joanna II 1404 to 1416, John IV 1416 to 1424, George 1424 to 1437, Mary II. House of La Tour d'Auvergne 1437 to 1461, Bertrand I 1461 to 1497, Bertrand II 1497 to 1501, John V. After the death of John V, Count of Boulogne, the County of Boulogne was integrated into the royal domain.